You know, something that has perplexed me for kind of a lot of years now is how it is that monks and gurus, I'll give you an example. Someone like Adyashanti, just one example I'm grabbing because the name comes to mind. He's kind of a Buddhist or a monk or a guru kind of thing. I don't want to stick a label on the guy, but if you know who he is, you have an understanding of what he does and probably fits, if even only loosely, one of those categories. Now, so Adyashanti is quoted as saying, enlightenment is a destructive process. I'll bet you a dollar bill that's not what most people think or believe enlightenment actually is. Goes on to say, it has nothing to do with becoming better or being happier. Enlightenment is the crumbling away of untruth. How easy do you think that process is going to be for most people? It's seeing through the facade of pretense. And when you consider that, that's about, having your paradigm shattered into like pieces. That's not pleasant. It's the complete eradication of everything we imagined to be true. That is what a yogi, guru, monk, meditator, Buddhist guy has to say to humans. That enlightenment actually is. I'll read it again without interjecting. Enlightenment is a destructive process. It has nothing to do with becoming better or being happier. Enlightenment is the crumbling away of untruth. It's seeing through the facade of pretense. It's the complete eradication of everything we imagined to be true. When you sit and think of those words and what that person, that human, is telling you that enlightenment truly is, he just said, in a very kind way of expressing it, that it's one of the most painful things you will ever experience in this fucking life, to become awakened, to become enlightened. Now, what I find is strange to me, well, before I go there, to be awakened, to be enlightened, destructive process that has to do with the crumbling away of untruth that's been built up all around you, seeing through the facade, the eradication of, and he uses the word everything we imagined is what he says to be true, but it's more an issue of everything we've been programmed to believe is true. I find that to be a very insidious and malignant game that humans being put into this reality, born blank and programmable, are programmed with and fed so much wrong and deceptive and bullshit information that simply waking up to the truth becomes a very, very challenging process. You got to ask yourself, what the fuck kind of reality is that? That to simply wake up to consciously in your awareness to the true reality that you were put in is like waking up to a fucking nightmare. Like, what the fuck kind of shit is that? Now, here's a question that I've had for kind of a while. Considering all of the war, considering all of the murdering and killing that government does, considering all of the horrible atrocities that befall human children, human adults, etc., considering the true reality that manifests for humans to experience, one has to wonder why, when these yogis or monks or guru people, quote unquote, find their enlightenment and go through that destructive process that is the crumbling away of untruth and seeing through the facade of pretense, you got to wonder why they don't get pissed. I don't know. Do they see something that the rest of us don't? When you realize that you've been put into a reality that is like this one is, that at the foundations of it, you can see all of the atrocities that unfold in the fabric of this reality that are writ throughout the equations that are written into the fucking reality. How the fuck do these monks, yogis, and gurus have such a peaceful look on their face? If you look at the meme of Adyashanti talking about enlightenment and what it truly is, excuse me, one of those AZ quotes things. He's got one of those really soft look in his face. His eyes look all soft and he just doesn't look angry, upset. He looks peaceful. And I just don't get it. How do you find that and accept what you're implying that enlightenment gives you? The ability to truly see what the fuck this reality is. What is it about these people that allows them to passively accept the fact that they were put into a fucking hell realm? And that for many of them, the only thing that they could find of meaning or substance to do in this life is to sit and meditate. And I don't mean to be critical of them in saying that at all. Apparently they know there is nothing in this life for them. So they spend their time in their monasteries meditating and monking and, doing those types of things, denying themselves pleasure and wives and all the other things. Probably saves them a lot of fucking pain and heartache and headaches and drama and bullshit, which I guess I get, considering the amount of all of that I've had simply for trying to pursue the love of a good woman in this fucking life. It's like, whoa, how the fuck could the pursuit of something that is so fundamental and foundational to the human experience, a pair bond, with, the opposite sex for the purposes of blah, blah, blah. How in the fuck could that process have been made so fucking difficult and littered and wrought with so many challenges, obstacles, pitfalls, and so many oceans of fucking pain for the human to experience? It's just, I'm sorry, every time I look at all of any piece of it, it's just so fucking sickening to me. Just so profoundly disgusting, absurd, sickening, nauseating, all of those words, the whole fucking lot of it. So what do these people know? Well, it's assuming they know something that we don't, that allows them to stay in that peaceful monk-like state. And why, if they've found that key to their own peace, do they not feel some compulsion to share it with the world? Instead, you get guys like, what's that fucking charlatan piece of shit, Shad Guru? It's what I mean, that the whole spiritual realm has been so taken over by charlatans. The charlatans and yogis and monks and gurus, charlatans and shamanism, charlatans and religion, charlatans and all of this stuff, that these genres are gateways into the unquantifiable. So that you have all these deceivers that can lie to you and feed you all kinds of shit. And because they can't quantify it and you can't quantify it, all they get to do is sit there and feed you a bunch of feel-good stuff and then somehow find a way to take your money for making you feel better by mind-fucking you about the whole thing. Seems disingenuous at best and insidious and other such things below that. So, I don't know, what do the monks know that the rest of us lowly little human meat sacks don't? Do they recognize the impermanence of it all? Do they not attach to the emotion of the atrocities? What is it that they do that allows them to walk around in their robes, all peaceful and seemingly calm and full of like love and stuff or whatever the fuck it is? And to be in this reality and to know and see the pain and suffering that this world heaps upon people, how or why they wouldn't feel compelled to come out and share those, well, I don't even know why they would have to be classified as secrets. It's just knowledge, truth, that kind of stuff. Why are they not compelled? I don't understand. So it puts a big question mark for me on that genre of human existence where these people supposedly have been studying and meditating and, well, monking and all the ways that they do their guruing and monking and stuff. I'm sure, definitely sure, that there are people on this earth that actually know the fucking truth. You just got to wonder why we don't see them. But on the other hand, I guess they could probably be telling us the truth and most people would never recognize it as such. However, for some of us, we might recognize it because it might very well resonate within the core of our being. There are so many of us out here scratching and clawing, analyzing and grinding and ruminating on things, all of us doing it at various layers of the human existence. And unfortunately, most people are focused on the external symptoms of the physical 3D world around us. And I get it. I get it. It's one of those things that can be kind of hard to take your attention off of and your focus off of because, well, it's like watching a slow motion train wreck. You don't want to see it. And even as you cover your face with your hands, you still peek through the crack between your fingers to watch it. My biggest frustration in this life, one of them, is no answers. And the amount of deception that's here to muddle and cover any answers that may be out there for humans to find. Why? Why such an all-out assault on the human mind, beliefs, and perceptions? Why? What did humans do, and why would we be focused upon to that degree? Why? No answers. I don't understand that. Based off of everything that humans are told, based off of everything that I've concluded myself, why are there no answers for us? Why? There are no answers. We are left to conclude whatever we can with what information we do have in a realm that is so littered with deception and inversion. Just, most people don't know which way's up or down. And the truth is one of the things that they want to hide the most in this reality. Why? It makes absolutely no fucking sense to me why you would create a species like us and then do all that you could to actually hide, obfuscate, or remove the truth. What the fuck does that say to people? But most people are too goddamn unconscious, unaware, unbegun, unlearned, unread, unaware, just on everything that they would need to be to even be able to think the thought, let alone spend long periods of time in deep contemplation or rumination on such subject matters, because they believe that, well, humans just couldn't know. Us lowly little humans, we couldn't understand, and all that other fucking defeatist bullshit that makes people not want to think about this stuff. I wonder why we would be put into a reality where, to find some of the deepest truths of the reality, you have to suffer the most, so to speak. I continuously try to find the silver lining. I continuously try to find the aspects of love and light that I keep hearing people talk about that I don't actually see for myself, but I hear everybody talking about it. So in my travels, in my analyzations, I'm constantly looking for the silver lining. And where is that love and light? And I'll be goddamned. I don't see it. I'm reasonably aware. I'm reasonably intelligent, cognitively process to a reasonable degree. I'm a good little monkey that's very capable of seeing and identifying patterns. Sorry, but I don't see it. You got to ask yourself why waking up would be such a painful process. Why enlightenment would be such a destructive process. Why we're birthed into a world where if we're going to go through those things, not everybody will. Most people won't. Why are they so goddamn painful? Why were we thrust into this reality, born blank and programmable, with no fucking knowledge of why we're here, where we come from, why this is being done to us, and on and on and on. Yet again, no answers. No answers. That is one of the biggest things that infuriates me, is there are no answers. And when you realize that humans are left to speculate and conclude for themselves what they will, and then realize that human egos get in the way because somebody wants to be the smartest or the most enlightened or the most spiritual or and then they're getting money and all that other bullshit from people for it. It's just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? But there's no answers short of what you can scratch and claw and conclude for yourself in a realm where we're born blank, we're born programmable, we're programmed with all kinds of poisons. And then if and when you ever wake up and become conscious enough to start going out and looking for the truth yourself, you realize what a realm of deception we're actually in, how much lies, falsities, misinformation, disinformation, half-truths are all out there, purposefully put out there for the purposes of either deceiving humans, misdirecting humans, deceiving them to extract their money from charlatans who have no moral compass. Why is the truth so elusive in this reality? Why is it so obvious to me that something so holy is so wholly working towards confusing the humans, lying to the humans, removing, obfuscating, inverting the truth? Why would you do that to us? And then ask yourself, why would you put us into a realm where you knew that was going to be the eventuality that the humans experienced? And if there are no answers given or granted, the more they wake up, it's going to drive them, more and more insane, because you can see that you're being deceived and you're left to conclude what you can in a realm full of deception. You do the best you can with what you've got. And even at that, that not what you see isn't the totality of it, because so much has been held away and obfuscated. It's like they don't want you to know the truth because they want you to stay in their game. They want you deceived and manipulated in every conceivable way so that they can control you in their game. Why? Why? I would ask the dark side, why choose to do this? Why? I would ask the light side, why would you choose to put us in here? And then why would you give us no answers? Why? It's fucking infuriating to me because it shows a level of sadistic, insidious intention. It shows things that most people don't want to accept. For the 5 years since my Aussie ghost did what she did, no answers, nothing, just more purposeful, quote unquote, crazy making, because it will drive you fucking insane when you know you've been lied to, deceived, betrayed, manipulated, and all those other things, and you will get no answers, none. Well, I experienced that on multiple levels of this existence, from family, from friends at one time, from lovers, from the spiritual realms. No human, no meat sack, fuck you. You'll figure out whatever you can figure out with what you can find and piece together if you can. We don't care. What are you going to do about it? Meat sack? From all the equations in nature, being built upon predation, all those equations that I've talked about, to the things that happen to human children, the attacks upon the developing species, all the cycles of war and pestilence and just famine and all the things that humans have been put through. I just don't understand how the fuck it is that there's a single human alive upon the earth that could believe that what put them here was benevolent, that could believe any of the shit the agendas of the priest class and the Jews have put into the heads of the silly little fucking Gentiles. It would appear to me that the entirety of the priest class upon this earth works for the fucking dark side. Because, it's just, I can't stop feeling the nausea, the disgusted feeling, the hopelessness. And it's not because of all the things going on in the world, although that is part of it. I'm looking at this at so many other layers of the experience and beginning to see that there's this big game being run on humans that goes way into the incorporeal, that there are string pullers and shot callers and all that other kind of shit in the physical, the non-physical. And to have the awareness that we were built to be a species that was, I can't think of anything else that could be more manipulatable, unless it was an inanimate object that was made to be manipulated, like a sock puppet or a marionette or something like that. And all the ways in which the human can be manipulated and influenced through non-physical means. I mean, that's some seriously profound shit there that I'd say 95% of the humans upon the earth, give or take, don't have any conscious awareness of. So all the things that take place from those realms, that most humans don't ever have the conscious awareness to even look to that as a source, as I said in my previous monologue. Something about the equation where the incorporeal can fuck with your life, but you can't even perceive it. What you can do is see and perceive the symptoms. That's fucked up. And we were engineered for that to be the way it works. And that shit just breaks my fucking brain. Think about it. We were engineered with the endocrine system in us, which is effectively a pharmacological factory that doses us with some of the most powerful chemicals that humans know of. On top of that, we were made manipulatable. The mind, the emotions, the psychology, the beliefs, the perception, the non-physical ways in which these things exist and express and can be manipulated through frequency, energy, vibration, through the manipulation of devils, demons, ghosts, or frequency weapons that aliens or humans have. We were fucking built to be manipulated. We were fucking built to be puppeted around like Pinocchio. Well, that's not a good example because he didn't have any strings anymore. Oh, like a marionette. Born blank and programmable into a realm where evil was already here before we got here. Therefore, before we have any consciousness or awareness of it, our minds, our beliefs, and our perceptions can be programmed and manipulated with all kinds of poisons and wrong things, as has been the case from the beginning. We were girded with the endocrine system that doses us with the chemicals that as we are manipulated through mind or emotion or psychology, the endocrine system doses us with the chemicals. And then we were made so that we could be manipulated through all these non-physical ways, energy, frequency, vibration, and the underhanded ways in which non-physical things can be done in this realm to manipulate the human mind, the human beliefs, the human perception, the human will, the human sexuality, all of the things. If you were to write that shit out and just look at it and draw your own conclusion based off of those facts alone, take what I've said in the last video, if you were motivated to, and put all that shit out on the wall. Take what I'm explaining in this video and put that up there with it as well. And you start looking at this shit and ask yourself what the fuck you think it actually means. In contrast to what you've been programmed to believe, what can you conclude based off of these things? On top of all that stuff, I start adding to it the things that I've experienced, the life that I had mapped out for me, the parents that I was birthed to, and the damage that did when I was a fucking infant, for fuck's sake, and then on through my fucking childhood. When I think of what I've gotten back when I tried to go into the Buddhist monastery for the purposes of learning the inward journey and got shredded through my narcissistic ex-girlfriend, that whole process was fucked up for me. And I never really got what I went there to get because I couldn't focus because of my alcoholic, narcissistic, fucking spiraling out of control, narcissistic ex-girlfriend. Gee, thanks, Stephanie. That was fucking great of you to do that for me. And then move forward about a year and a half, I go on another journey to improve myself, to heal myself, to learn more, to do things that most humans won't. And in the process of that, the spiritual warfare and the spiritual attacks, the black magic, the brujeria, just the shit, the narcissist that I've experienced through that process, I started to step back from all of that, look at the efforts I put forth and what I've gotten back in return for it, considering I did things that you have to admit most people into the 95th percentile of the fucking world wouldn't do. And it's like something sat there and waited for me to make the attempt, and then just from a perspective where I would never understand until later, just shredded me. For what? Having the audacity to think that I could go into the Buddhist monastery to learn the tools that nobody ever taught me, to learn the inward journey, to do something in the inner house. Oh, no, meat sack, fuck you. And when I look back at what the narcissistic filth that I was with did while I was there, oh, what a fucking sick joke that turned out to be. And then when I look back at my experiences after the Amazon, consider the people that I was surrounded by in the Amazon, consider the experiences that I had in ceremonies and the foreground that set in, and the things that set in motion for that, to the degree that you have heard those stories, it's like, what the fuck? I was so horribly and viciously manipulated and attacked in ways that people don't even understand through the process of trying to heal myself. I was so desperate and so in need of healing myself. I made the epic goddamn journey 5,000 miles away to the Peruvian fucking Amazon to drink a horrible tasting brew with little Indian people and a whole bunch of other people from all over the world that I didn't know. I was so quote unquote desperate for healing and that kind of thing. And in that process, which was a multi-year process, when I look back at how fucked up the experiences that I had were in the Amazon, it was nice. In those, it was a little bliss bubble in the retreat. Anyway, it was everything subsequent to that. Again, no answers, no insight. With the Canaanite, no answers, no insight, no closure. You get that from the spiritual realm, and you get that from malignant, narcissistic, fucking subhuman animals that occupy human meat suits, but are probably demons underneath the pretty exterior kind of thing. Everywhere I've turned, I get no answers. Everywhere I've turned to try to improve myself, it's like I get hit with a spiritual fucking sledgehammer. No answers, no insight, no nothing. So when people wonder or question, why is this guy so pissed, so bitter, so angry, so resentment-filled, so filled with vitriol and fury and rage and wants to kill God and blah, blah, where does this source? This is some of it. This is most of it, to be honest with you. When I start looking back at the efforts that I put forth, the intentions that I had, what I was trying to do and accomplish, and see the level of attack that I experienced just simply trying to better and improve myself, what the fuck does that say to anybody in this fucking reality? Holy fucking shit, fuck me, Agnes, what the fucking hell, fuck? I guess when you hold one belief, for instance me, my belief in some great spirit in the sky, and then go through what I went through with my calling into the Amazon and everything that happened subsequent to that, you start to realize that from a perspective of spiritual warfare, that I was actually sought out, willfully manipulated, deceived, lured. They played on my good qualities and character traits, set me up in ways that I never would have conceived of. set me up in ways I never knew possible. I never thought that there would be anything out there that would ever spend the time to do that, put that kind of effort for little old fucking me. I mean, fuck me, Agnes. Just blows my fucking mind. And when I sit and think about the level of manipulation that I know, looking back, that I experienced in some of the ceremonies that I was in, it just begs the question of what the fuck is it out there that has the ability to manipulate a human being in a fucking ayahuasca ceremony? What technology are they using? Is it spirits just injecting themselves? It's like something can inject itself into your psychedelic experience while you're out of your fucking body and manipulate the scenery or the experiences that you have. If that doesn't show a level of total control and manipulation of every single fucking aspect of our reality, fuck, I don't know what else does. If those places that the human spirit can go to heal itself, to improve itself, to grow itself, to evolve itself, can be manipulated and you can be attacked there, then there is nothing sacred. There is nothing there that wants you to get out of this fucking place. Because that would be, by most human standards, considered sacred space and an area that's off limits. You don't fuck with a human while they're doing that kind of work. Considering that from a godly perspective, fuck, it's humans, it's work that most humans won't even fucking do. So the few that fucking wind up doing it, yeah, maybe you could leave them the fuck alone. Maybe you could protect them a little bit. But see, it doesn't work that way. It walked into shamanism because I thought, or I knew, it's older than all the religions. The shamans have been around, have a history of about 7,000 years. You know, the ones that walked between the two worlds and blah, blah, blah. I guess it shows my naivety, but walking into the Amazon, I never anticipated being confronted with or faced with a substantial portion of that whole genre is corrupted by black magic and brujeria and dark spirits and manipulation and charlatans and all that stuff. So there is nowhere. Clearly religions and spirituality have been conscripted. And I naively walked into that assuming that since they're all like connected to the earth and stuff, that it would be, well, different. And since these little Indian people weren't all tainted by the Western world. But I was wrong, because a lot of them are. And greed is a really big thing. And the level of manipulation that some of these people that play the part are willing to impose upon you from a place of greed, to extract from you all that they can, and then spit you out and leave you in a worse shape than you were when you walked the fuck in there. The fact that those people exist in a realm or a genre where people who are broken and weakened and vulnerable are really going to their last ditch effort to try and find some solace and fucking healing from the damage the world, their parents, or whatever else has done to them, and to come to realize that there are so many traps lying in wait for those vulnerable fucking people down in the Amazon. Yeah, there's something looking out for us now, isn't there, boys and girls? Oh yeah, they're looking out for you, all right. To be put into a reality where we're supposed to be learning lessons, and then the only way is through the brutality of life, that you figure out what the lessons are, if you can figure it out at all. And if you can't, sometimes life will just continue to beat you upon the head. We're not given a table of contents of whatever lessons our supposed soul has mapped out for us in this conscripted life, this scripted life. And you start thinking about that. That's just profoundly fucked up. Because if, when humans got to a level of consciousness and awareness, you'd think that you'd somehow be given some sense so that as you move forward in life, you could look for opportunities in certain areas that your soul was supposed to learn and grow. Look for opportunities to learn and grow because you're a conscious human being. But no, that's not how it works. That's not how the game is run and played upon the little human meat sack. When you have a supposed God or creator that is mapping out life scripts and shotgunning souls into the wombs of the monkeys that are humping on this earth, that are going to be horrible parents, abuse their kids, blankets of trauma, stunted, stifled development, probably never get to 0 point, probably perpetuate the cycle. Something is fundamentally fucking flawed in everything that's going on down here. When something can map out a life for a human being that absolutely includes a void where the concept of love is from parents, and that any pursuit of that the human would go through in its life would be just littered with narcissists and all of that other kind of stuff, that was fated for me. What the fuck? Humans, everybody knows what they say about love. Love is healing. Love helps you to grow. It's nurturing. It's all these healthy, wonderful, wonderful things. Yet we have something that's mapping out lives for people that will actually never know the love of another in life, truly. They'll never know the bond, they'll never know the connection, the loyalty, and all those other things. Yet we're sold a bill of goods about what love is, and that it's this healing thing, and it's just this all the things that we are. How many people pursue it in this fucking world and get nothing but pain and suffering for their efforts? What the fuck is up with that shit? That's not looking for riches. That's not looking for power. That's not looking for fame. That's not looking for anything toxic, negative, bad, any of those things. But go ahead. Try and find love. Just look at the fucking world. Look at the condition of people. Something has willfully done that to the humans so that the pursuit of such things would be, well, what they seem to be. And something has sat back and watched while the entirety of the species has been in their minds, beliefs, and perceptions, and in a myriad of other ways, raped and accosted and molested and attacked and murdered and abused. And whoa, that's the mark of protection and a loving deity that's looking out for its beloved creation now, isn't it? It just reeks with love and kindness and caring and just all that warm and fuzzy stuff, doesn't it? You know, if I was 25, I'd probably see things differently, even if I saw what I saw, because I'm like, I got my whole life ahead of me. But to see the things that I see at 51 years old, to have had to have lived this long and experienced what I've experienced, and to be, blessed with or cursed with the faculties that give me the ability to analyze and contemplate and ruminate and ask fucking questions. Strangely, I probably wouldn't have asked all those questions because I'm so smart and stuff, had my life not been so goddamn littered with pain and suffering and bullshit. I just got to a point where it just reached a point of saturation with all this shit where I was like, what the fuck? What? And I guess all you got to do is start asking the right questions before answers to things that you thought were one way begin to reveal themselves to you as being, well, vastly different. And in closing, looking upon humans and seeing how fucked up they are, how willing they are to deceive, to manipulate, to use each other, it's fucking sickening to me that there are people that can look you straight in the fucking eye, lie straight through their teeth, feel nothing about it, feel nothing for you. They just want something from you. And clearly there's very few lows that they will go to stoop to. Whether it's manipulating you, lying to you, deceiving you, betraying you, it doesn't make a fucking difference. That humans are that willing to be that scummy and deceptive and deceiving. It just fucking sickens me on levels that I can't even actually quantify with human language, even though I'm saying these words trying to explain it. It goes so much deeper than the words that I am expressing can express. I haven't actually been able to truly live life in many years. I've just been existing and struggling to fucking survive. Wow. Never would have guessed this would be a fate that I would suffer by walking into the Amazon to heal myself and be in service to others. Never would have expected it. You'd never think. It just shows so many fucking things that are horrible, heinous, and disgusting. Anyway, that's what I've got.